What is up, guys? Justin here with my first pickup video of the 2016 garage sailing season. Now, I have been to a handful of garage sales over the past couple weekends. I picked up like a game or two. It was nothing worth filming a video for, but today was like the first big day of garage sailing. There was a community sale going on about 10 minutes away from here, like 30 plus sales, I think. It's an annual thing that I go to every year. And also right around the corner from here was the annual Cherry Street sale. There was like 8 or 10 sales going on there. Plus I hit up a few miscellaneous sales in between. So it was a pretty busy morning, and oh my god, was it cold out. It was freezing out, literally. It was actually snowing when I left in the morning. And I took some video on my phone while I was out driving around this morning, so I will roll that for you right here, and then I will recap what I picked up.
It's Saturday, May 14th. We're going garage sailing, and this is what we're dealing with. It's going to be a cold one. Look at this madness. I just pulled into our first community sale here, and I'm trying to find a spot to park to start hitting up some of these sales. Apparently the cold weather is not deterring anybody. Alright, I've already hit about 20 sales and finally just getting my first finds here. I'll show them in more detail in a pickup video, but I gotta keep going. Plenty more sales to hit. Well, I'm happy to announce that it is officially up to 37 degrees out, and I'm actually working up a little bit of a sweat here. So I left the community sale and headed back towards kind of where I live and made a few more pickups. I paid a little bit more than I wanted to for these, but the lady was holding them for me, so I kind of felt obligated, but it was still a decent deal. I'll show it in more detail in the pickups video. So here's the infamous Cherry Street, which is supposed to be another kind of community sale happening today, but there is absolutely nothing going on here right now. I checked in here right at 8 o'clock because this is right around the corner from where I live, and there was nothing going on. And now it's after 10 and there's still nothing going on here. So I don't know if everyone just called it because of the weather, even though I don't think it's that bad. I mean, you can see it's snowing a little bit, but what else is new, right? Just kidding, I think I found the sales. Alright, Cherry Street was kind of a bust. I picked up a few things that weren't game related. The rest of those pickups are from earlier in the morning. But if you guys recall, Cherry Street was the infamous street sale where we picked up that NES bundle and the Star Wars N64 set. That was a long time ago now. I'll link that video somewhere below. I feel like I reference that every year when I come to this street sale, but haven't had luck here in a few years. So I just got a text from a lady that I had been emailing last night. She's having a garage sale. It's about 20 minutes away from here, but I'd emailed her and asked if she had any video games, and she told me that she was going to be selling a Nintendo and some games, and that's all she said. She said she'd text me when it got to the sale or when the person that was selling it got there, and she just texted me, so I'm headed up there right now and crossing my fingers that Nintendo and games is something good. Pretty pumped right now. Just picked up the Nintendo and games. As you can see, it ended up being an N64 with some crap accessories, which doesn't look that great, but there's about 6 or 7 games in that case there, and a few gems. I'm pretty excited about this right now.
So I've never really had too much luck at that particular community sale. Like I said, it's an annual thing that they do to kind of kick off like the garage sailing season, I guess, every summer. If you can call that summer, I don't even know. But yeah, I think that's part of the problem, because what happens is, I'd say about 50% of the sales that I went to this morning were just like these half-assed, cobbled together sales where, you know, someone will take like some clothes that they don't wear anymore and some like dishes or something that are just gathering dust and just throw them out on a table in their garage and open their garage door in the morning and see if they get any money for them, because they don't have to worry about like advertising the sale or anything like that. I mean, everybody knows what's going on. There's hundreds of people there every year, so they can kind of get away with doing that and maybe make a little money, but that greatly decreases the chances for me finding any video game stuff But I did get a few pickups. It's actually kind of funny. They weren't even from really like a garage sale. It was these two little kids. I think they were brothers or something. They were just set up at the end of their driveway. They had like a little table with like some of their personal stuff on it that they were selling, and their mom was out there helping them out and stuff. But as I drove by, I spotted what could be some video games on their table. So I pulled over and ran up there, and sure enough, they had what ended up being my only pickups of that entire community sale. So I got this DS Lite here. It's a red DS Lite, or Crimson I guess is the official name for it. It came in this Super Mario case here. And they also had some miscellaneous games, a few DS games and a few 360 games. I picked up Mario Kart DS, which was complete and in good condition. And also for the 360 I picked up Farming Simulator, which, I don't know, this game seems to have kind of like a cult following. I've never played it or seen anyone play it, but even though it looks incredibly boring, it's something that it's kind of intriguing, and I might actually try this one out. So they had, the DS was marked for $10, and I think they had the games at $5 each. And obviously I wasn't going to haggle, with the little kids' prices or whatever, but when I asked them for the total for everything, they said, $20, but we're willing to negotiate. And I was like, oh, okay. So I spotted these two loose DS games here that I think they were selling for $1 each. So I said, how about if I give you $20? Will you throw these two DS games in for me? And they said, sure. So we got Sonic Classic Collection and Sonic Sega All-Stars Racing, just loose for the DS there. But they were thrown in for free. And unfortunately, I don't think the DS Lite system works. I had a real hard time getting it to charge. Like the charging port here was really, really touchy. But I finally did get it to charge with an extra AC adapter that I had. And I started it up. It was all factory reset, so I had to fill out all the information, and I couldn't get it to read a game. I put Mario Kart DS in there, put the Sonic games in there. It wouldn't recognize any of them, so I think this might be kind of a loss here. But, it's only $10, so I'm sure I can find something to do with it. But anyway, like I said, those are my only finds from that whole community sale. I was out there for probably like an hour and a half running from sale to sale. Actually worked up kind of a little bit of a sweat, actually, even though it was like 37 degrees out or whatever it was. So anyway, as I was out walking around, I got an email response to an email that I had sent out the previous night. I had seen a sale advertised on Craigslist, and I just sent them an email and asked if they had any video game stuff. And I didn't hear back from them until the next morning, and they said, oh, sorry, we just saw your message, but yeah, we have a PS2 for sale for $20. And it was a sale that was back in my town, about 10 minutes away from where I was. So I was like kind of in a hurry to get out of this community sale and race over there and pick it up. So I emailed them. I asked if there was any way they could set it aside for me and that I was on my way and I could come pick it up. So it was actually about like a half hour before I finally got over to that sale. I felt kind of bad, but I walked up there and the lady was like, oh, you're not here for the PS2, are you? And at that point I was kind of scared. I was like, yeah, I am. And thinking that she had already sold it to somebody else or figured I wasn't coming or whatever. But no, she had held on to it for me, which I greatly appreciated. Even though she said she had one or two people come up and ask, how much it was and they were wanting to buy it, she held on to it for me, which was awesome. It was a PS2 FAT system here with a memory card in it and the network adapter on the back of it. It came with actually 3 adapters. It had the power cord and then 2 different AV cords here. This is like the original one that it came with, and this looks like just like a third-party one. And then it had 1 controller with it as well. So, when I asked her how much it was, she had said $20 in the email, but she told me $25, and I guess I'd been talking to someone else on the email or whatever. So and just the fact that she had held on to it for me and everything, I kind of felt obligated to pay the $25. A little more than I would normally pay for a PS2 FAT, but I did get her to throw in this one game here. They had like 1 or 2 PS2 games that were junk, and then a couple 360 games. So I got her to throw in, looks like Rage, the Anarchy Edition, which had all 3 discs in there, but no manual, but I'm not going to complain because it was kind of thrown in for free. Now on to what was definitely the best score of the weekend by far, and here's kind of the story behind this. Friday evening I saw an ad on Craigslist for a sale that was going on the next morning, so I sent them an email and asked if they were going to have any video game stuff for sale, and the lady emailed me back and said that they were going to have a Nintendo and games. So I didn't really have much to go off of, but I was still pretty excited. So I asked what would be a good time the next morning to stop by and check it out. And she told me that the lady that was selling it probably wasn't going to be there until like noon. So I gave her my number. I said, you know, is there any way you could shoot me a text or give me a call when the system gets there? I'd love to check it out. And sure enough, 11:30 Saturday morning, I got a text that said the system was there. They were nice enough to set it aside for me until I had a chance to check it out. So I drove back up there. This was way back out where I was at that community sale earlier in the morning. It was like 15 or 20 minutes to get to this house. It was in the middle of nowhere, but it ended up being totally worth it. So I was a little bit worried when I first walked up there and saw that it was actually just a black N64 system. Had a $50 price sticker on it, and it came with this third-party controller here, which did have a memory card or controller pack in the back of it, and then just had a third-party RF adapter, the power adapter, and randomly a Nintendo RF cord. So I was initially a little bit worried, but I saw that it was sitting on top of this case of games here, which it's not one of the official N64 drawers. I think it just says like game stuff on it or something. But I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe if this is full of games, $50 will be totally worth it. So when I opened it up, I noticed that there was only like 6 or 7 games in here. I was like, uh-oh. But whoever owned this system definitely had a good taste in games. There's no sports or anything in here. These are all pretty quality titles and made this deal totally worth it. So the first one we got here was Super Mario 64. Next up was Pokemon Snap. We got Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, which has actually gotten pretty pricey lately. I never thought this game was too hard to find or too expensive, but I checked it out, like $20 or $30 for this now. That's crazy. We got Banjo-Kazooie, followed up by Banjo-Tooie, Paperboy, and then this last one here was the last one I pulled out of the case, and I could not believe to see this one in there, Harvest Moon 64. And I believe this is the only copy of this game other than my personal copy that I've ever owned. I bought my personal copy of this game like 10 or 12 years ago off of eBay. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I can't imagine it was more than like $15 or $20. And this game has just gotten crazy expensive since then. So I'm really glad I got it when I did, and I'm really glad I finally found another copy. Again, this is one of my favorite games of all time. I've poured so many hours into this game. I'm actually kind of excited to put this in the system and kind of check out like what kind of save files are on this cartridge. But anyway, super excited about that. Ended up being totally worth it. And actually, even though it was marked for $50, they ended up selling it to me for $40, which made it even better. So, might have been a little bit of a drive, but it was totally worth it. And that definitely made the weekend worth it as a whole. And finally, I just wanted to mention this quick at the end of the video for anyone who is wondering why my setup behind me here looks a little bit different than it has in our previous videos. It's actually because I'm in a new apartment. Now some of you are probably saying, wait a minute, didn't you just move into a new apartment like 9 months ago? And yes, you would be correct. My cousin and I lived in our previous apartment for like 9 months or so, and then we just kind of decided we wanted to get somewhere that was bigger, because that place was tiny, had no storage room at all, and something a little bit nicer and preferably like above ground, especially for like the summer and stuff. So we ended up moving actually just right around the corner from where we previously were, but this place we're in now is a lot bigger. I've actually got a walk-in closet right here that fits all of my game stuff that's in storage, which at the moment is the majority of it, other than what you see behind me here. So that solved one of my biggest issues, because I didn't really have anywhere to store it in the previous place. And just in general, this place is a lot nicer. So I just wanted to mention that quickly at the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for sticking around and checking out the whole video. And until next time, take care.